Today we're going to talk a little bit about tires. Tires are so important because it's what keeps you connected to the road. If you have the correct tires for the season, you'll have the best traction, stopping, acceleration, and cornering, and it's what keeps you safe and also having a great time. Tonight, though, the most important thing that we're going to cover is winter tires. A lot of people that are in the more northern states, climates, um, in areas that might get some really cold temperatures and some snow, they may think that an all-season tire is the best solution. However, it is not. Now, if you wanted a one-size-fits-all, as you know, typically one size doesn't always fit all. And that is the case when it comes to cold weather. You have the option of having an all-season tire, which has some snow capabilities, cold, warm, wet capabilities. But what you really want is you want a good tire for the summer that'll decrease your braking distances. It'll be great in wet traction in the warmer climates, but then you also want a winter tire for the colder weather as it gets below 38 degrees Fahrenheit. And as you approach the snow and slush and all of those nasty things that, a lot of car people are like, oh man, that's not fun to drive in. But when you have the proper tires, it's actually not bad. And as you can see behind me, the Camaro that I drive, we drive it all over the place. Bonneville Salt Flats, Four Corners, Daytona Speedway, NCM Motorsports Park. It's been on there quite a few times. Autocrosses, New York City just last week, or this week actually. But ultimately, we use it all the time. Soccer games, going to other venues. I use it to get to work. But in the end, because we drive it all the time, any car that's driven in these colder climates should really have a winter tire. So let's take a look at what a winter tire really is and what it means and why you should consider one. Here you can clearly see three different types of tires. This is a summer tire, and it has great wet traction and grip. You can see that there's some lines running through the core of the tire, the center of the tire, that have the deep grooves. These tires, believe it or not, have over 20,000 miles, and the Michelin PS4Ss are awesome above that 38 degree threshold. However, they are approaching 5 years old, so we're gonna do some drifting with them before we take them off and maybe give them away or use them as spares. The tires down here are also a summer tire, but these are really more for dry weather. They're great on a racetrack, and you can see these like deep square rectangular grooves. That's to tell you how far down the tread actually goes. So once you hit the, once these are smooth, that means you're out of tread. However, these Goodyear Eagle SC3s or Supercar 3s are really not meant to be a wet traction tire. After a couple thousand miles, they're really not great, but they're awesome in the dry, have amazing grip, and they last for all of a 40-minute session on a road course. These are more of a spare. They're a little bit older. They're not really worn, what I would consider worn, but definitely not good in the rain. But here's what we're talking about today. These are winter tires, and you can see that we have these square blocks on them, these deep angled grooves here, all kinds of different tread patterns, and these are designed to crush the snow together, get the snow to grip in between here, and that's what gives you traction in this snowy and slushy cold weather. Also, the tire compounds between these are all different. These tires can handle high levels of heat for extended periods of time. These tires can handle heat not quite as hot as these guys, but they are great. They're not great for road racing, or track use rather. You get a couple laps, then they get kind of gooey, gummy, and slippery. These guys, however, have a lot of grip in the cold weather, not like race car grip, but really great, safe grip when you're driving in those winter climates. Another thing to note on these tires, excuse the mess back here and also these really dirty wheels, but this symbol right here is what you're gonna want. You're gonna wanna look for this, and this is kind of like a mountain with a snowflake. That tells you it's a true winter tire, and that's what we're gonna wanna look for. The 4-digit date code is something that people often forget to mention, and it's really, really important. You wanna make sure that your tires are less than 5 years old. Now, will they work beyond 5 years? Of course. But what happens is after about 5 years, the tread compound is starting to deteriorate. You may not get the full performance potential out of your tires. Here's an example of what that looks like. It's 4 digits. The first 2 digits indicate the week
the tires are produced of the year for the last 2 digits. So in this case, this is the 4th week of 2023. So this would be late January of 2023. These tires really are still good. You know, we're in December of 2025. So we're almost, what is that, 23 and 40? It's we're about 2.5, 3 years in. So we still have a couple years left. However, these tires will not last too much longer. If we take a look at those treads, they are fairly worn. They have about 62,000 miles on them, a lot of high-speed highway mileage. So they don't wear as much when you're talking highway versus a lot of cornering, and they're properly inflated all the time. So take a look at the date code on your tires. Make sure they're less than 5 years. Once they're 5 years, just make sure you inspect the tires. Again, the newer they are, the more grip you have, and the more optimal the performance is as they're intended. Here's an example of where the date code is getting to the end of the line. So we're looking at 09 of 21, which is early March of 2021. We're approaching January of 2026. These tires are about 5 years old. Believe it or not, these Michelin Pilot PS4Ss, they're designed as a ultra high performance summer tire. And believe it or not, there's a little bit of tread left on there. So even though there's a little bit of tread left, I would say relatively safe tread, not high water or standing water tread. We're just gonna burn these up sometime before we hit 2026. You know, we're in December of 2025 next week. So we'll do a little drifting, make a cool video, burn these up, and keep the fronts as spare tires.